The other misconception is that him and Dre talked prior to him dying, which never happened. The last time I saw Dre was at the hospital when he was already unconscious, and it was because my lawyer called David Kenner and said, you better tell Dre to go see him because you might never see him again. And Dre showed up there, and I saw Dre at the hospital, but at that time, Eazy was already unconscious in a coma.
Did Cube make it up there?
I never saw Cube up there when I was there.
What about Yella?
I didn't see Yella when I was up there either.
Yeah. What about Ren?
I didn't see none of them. The only one I saw up there was because we called him was Dr. Dre. It doesn't mean that they weren't up there. It's not when I was up there.
Okay, I get it.
Very, very interesting that not many people visited Eazy-E, allegedly, during the time he was down and out in the hospital. I mean, these are people that Eazy, for the most part, with a little bit of help, obviously, made these people household names. NWA was the biggest thing in the world at one point when it came to hip hop. Oh, it was the biggest thing. Don't get it twisted. This little group from Compton, California was selling tapes all over the country, all over the world. And for very few of them to visit Eazy-E, that's just very interesting. Look, I don't know why they didn't visit. Look, just because, I get it. I don't like to see open caskets. I don't like going to a funeral and seeing an open casket because I want to remember the person how I saw them last week. I don't want to remember them in this casket state that they're in. So I do understand that. But damn, I'm going to my boy's funeral. Even if it is an open casket, I'm going. And it's just very interesting that no one came to visit him, at least visit him. I'm not talking about the funeral. I'm talking about visiting him during his time of being down and out. But who knows, man? Maybe they thought, yeah, Eazy will bounce back from this. Eazy, he has breathing problems. He was taking inhalers right all throughout his life pretty much. I think he had asthma or something like that, didn't he? Or towards the end of his life, I know he was definitely doing inhaler, taking a medically prescribed inhaler. So maybe his friends thought, oh, it's just a little something. It's not as big of a deal as people are making it out to be. Maybe, who knows? But dang, could you imagine, man, not seeing your boys there? Not the last minutes of your life. And look, now Eazy, whether you believe in heaven or hell, if none of that, I mean, I don't think Eazy's worrying about that too much now. But imagine being in your last stages of your life, man, and the people who you grew up with, the people who you broke bread with, the people you had some of the best times of your life with, don't come to visit you. But once again, everyone has their reasons. What do you guys think about this interview with Mike Klein, head of security and business affairs at Ruthless Records? I really enjoyed this interview because it's about as exclusive as it gets. Exclusive. You know, people are like, this is an exclusive interview. Meanwhile, the person you're interviewing has done 152 interviews in the past 2 years. Not very exclusive. This Mike Klein interview, exclusive AF. Exclusive. At the time of this recording, you're not going to see another Mike Klein interview out there. Yes, maybe if you're listening to this in the future, 2063 or something like that, and I'm sure Mike Klein at that point is probably going to have do a bunch of interviews. Maybe not. Maybe, how cool would it be if this is his only interview he ever does? Because Mike Klein doesn't trust a lot of people, man. There's so many people out there who over the years have tried to twist up his words, twist up his stories, blame him for things, say he's the reason for this, say he's the reason for that, say he stole money from Eazy, he stole this unreleased music and moved to Canada. He came on our show, NWA Stories with Lonzo, because he trusts my colleague, Alonzo Williams. He trusts my boy. And in relation, I guess he trusts me. Because, look, dude, many podcasters out there, he could have went on Adam 22. He could have went on Vlad. I'm sure he would have they would have paid him top dollar. If I had to guess, they'd pay him top dollar. His story's that good. But he said, nah, forget all that. I'm going to come on my boy's show, NWA Stories with Lonzo. And I'm going to tell my story there. So I feel very good that he picked our platform. And if you're enjoying this interview, by the way, with Mike Klein, head of security and business affairs for Ruthless Records, I want you guys to go to the description, click on the link in the description, subscribe to NWA Stories with Lonzo, and check out the full interview with Mike Klein. Because you ain't going to hear this anywhere else. Ladies and gentlemen, mark my words. And please, before you do that, make sure you hit that like button on my channel right here. I need you to hit that like button before you go anywhere. And if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, you just might appreciate this bonus clip I'm about to play for you right now. That was an interesting time for music as well, because it was, the late gangster rap was a thing, of course. Ice-T, Ice Cube was a thing. NWA was a thing in the late 80s. But there was a shift, and you're going to know what I'm talking about once I explain this. But there was a time where we were house party generation. We were dancing. We had the bright clothes. We had the funny haircuts. We were talking Black Power this and Africa that and Malcolm X this. And
paper khakis and turtlenecks.
Yeah, and then overnight, dog. Dr. Dre. And it drops the Chronic in like 91, 92. We start seeing the total difference to where we would go to parties to dance and have fun and wear bright clothes. And then now it's the dark clothes, the baggy clothes. The whole thing has changed. Instead of dancing, you're a wallflower now, looking at looking across the room, and things like that.
That was me.
Yeah, tell everybody what you remember about that time, from when it was what I call the house party generation to going into the gangster rap generation.
Yeah, very, very critical time period. There's a 3-year period that I went from dropping out of junior high school to dropping out of high school. To the youngsters, this is a 3-year period that I would like for y'all to give us a pass for. It's 3 years, 89, 90, and 91.
There you go.
Those 3 years, young James was coming out of Audubon Junior High, and athletes were doing it. Crenshaw High, Dorsey High, Manual Arts, Washington. It was going down. If you youngsters look at the movie Love and Basketball, that party scene at Crenshaw High, that high school dance, that is how we used to get down. It was the Cabbage Patch, the troop. We were in dance groups. We had dance crews in high school that would perform at the pep rallies. And here's what started happening. A young lady in South Central named Latasha Harlins was killed in the store.
Yeah. It was before Rodney King, before the riots, for everybody who doesn't know.
The civil injustice that happened in the 90s. The flashpoint was an Asian lady that killed a young black girl in the store. The video blatantly showed over a juice, and she
didn't get off, or she got off, right? She did
they gave her probation. They gave her probation, and just a quick side note: that lady ended up moving out to the Antelope Valley and opening another store. But that had youngsters. When Latasha Harlins got killed, the 14, 15, 16-year-olds, we was hot and couldn't do nothing. Powerless. So you fast forward to O.J. Simpson's trial and his acquittal, and a guy named Rodney King and Reginald Denny.
Mm-hmm.
These are names that are etched in history in a 3 to 4 year period. Latasha Harlins, O.J. Simpson, Rodney King, Reginald Denny, and 4 white officers. These officers get off with the beating, and our city went ballistic. The OGs in the city said that's enough. You would hear a skit on the Chronic album that is live
If
from
I have
the
to
LA
die for
riot.
this African right here to have a future, I'm a dead motherfucker.
Young James looked at them niggas protecting us because my mama wouldn't let me. I'm the youngest in a family full of women. I saw the city burning down, wanted to go loot. My mama looked at me and said, "You walk outside, I'm gonna whip your ass. You better not come home." And I stayed at home and I watched it on TV.
Me too.
But the OGs we were there. Those of us who grew up getting that ass beat, we was scared of moms by then. Mom said it with a look in her face. We didn't do it.
Yep.
That was the bottom line. But the OGs in the hood rebelled. And they went out in the street and they rode. And I just knew they was riding for me. I just knew them gangsta ass niggas burnt the fucking city down in front of everybody. Here's what I'm getting to with the youngsters. Didn't nobody tell us how to rebuild it, fellas.
Damn.
Nobody told us
Message.
how to rebuild it. Young James dropped out of high school that year. It was hopeless. The 92 riots was supposed to be my senior year in high school. Stopped going to school because I saw a city where there was definitely no jobs because there was nothing to go to. It was in smoke. The reality of looking at that city when I was turning into a man was hopeless. So the riots hit. We burn it down. Everybody's broke. Nobody has a plan. But the gang truce comes out of that. For a small time, Crips and Bloods in this city was getting down. Shout out to DJ Battle Cat.
He was
being
there.
intricately involved with that Banging on Wax
Yes, sir.
project. Now, Young James is watching all of this, trying to get a security guard job. Parents is saying, you better do something. You better get out of here. I'm telling my parents, the city is dead. Y'all didn't have my back on the basketball. Y'all didn't have my back on the music. Fuck y'all. I turned into a complete rebel. I turned into one of those little niggas that you just want to get out the house. But I didn't break the law. That was I kept looking for jobs, but the city was in shambles. And that's the picture I try to paint for the youngsters. Y'all never, as a generation, just burned the city down. I watched these OG niggas, the generation above me. I watched these niggas say collectively, enough is enough. Fuck that. The problem is we weren't very smart about it. And the police just let us do it. As long as we didn't cross Wilshire,
Facts.
they didn't do nothing. So it turned out to be a bit of a double-edged sword, youngsters, and to the youngsters in hip-hop specifically, because y'all are our kids. We was out there fucking and sucking and trying to flirt with your mamas at the concerts at the Dog Pound and Dr. Dre and them was throwing. We wasn't millionaires. We was out there parking lot pimping with y'all's aunties and shit. And we ain't had no money. We was all broke. All of us. So we fast forward 20 years and the youngsters is trying to get it and they 10 times smarter than us because they didn't see us fuck everything up. They saw us make every possible wrong decision we could make. So they wasn't going for it. So I understand, but I would also ask for the youngsters to kind of go back and paint the picture of the desolate situation that was South Central LA in the 90s because of much of what you see now. If we get killed in the street, not a lot of people care.
Yeah.
So they rode for us. The gangsters, the hood niggas, the drug dealers. There was women out there talking about y'all not just gonna do us like this. The problem with that is nobody rebuilt it, so we had to raise our kids in it, and that would set the stage for homelessness for young James in his 20s. 91, 92, I have nothing but hip hop. CD Walkman, security guard job, dead end job, it's over. All hope lost. I would eventually end up joining the military at 29 after 10 years. That's why I talk about those 3 years set the stage for 10 years of homelessness as an adult because nobody told me what the fuck to do.
Wow.
And prayerfully, I had a grandmother. She had her own house. And rest in peace, Anna Grant. I used to go to my mama Ann's house, and that's where the seed was planted for the gospel rapper that you hear. I used to have to go to Mama Ann's house over on 8th Ave, and her husband Walter was making them Oklahoma oxtails, and he was watching college football, but I couldn't go over there and watch football and eat the oxtails unless I put some Bible study time in. And that time with Grandma, with Anna Grant, because she was praying over the whole family. She was predicting all this shit. She was telling me and making me memorize the Old Testament in Sunday school as a youngster and shit. So all this shit was the devil to her. I used to laugh at her. Like, if she heard a cuss word, it was the devil. If it wasn't her beloved Lord and Savior, she was cursing and shit. I was like, Grandma, you maybe got a point, but you tripping too. So that was my childhood. She was one of them old school Christians where if it wasn't the gospel, it was the devil. And that's what turned me away from the church. That's why I ended up homeless, looking for love in all the wrong places and shit. So it was kind of like the prodigal son story in the word, but hip hop was all up in that. Dr. Dre Bright drops The Chronic. Latasha Harlins, to get back to your original question, we wasn't feeling that dancing shit no more. They killing us in the street. They wasn't listening to fuck the police, and these niggas just dropped this bomb ass weed in the city called The Chronic.
Man.
So we gonna follow the leader. Dre was spawned from a musical era that had us all. So we was like, fuck Young MC and Bust the Move. We ain't busting the move no more. The girl don't like the nigga that's busting the move. She like the nigga that's slinging that weed. The mom's talking about get the fuck up out her house. So we don't really care what one crew that had me in high school. To you youngsters, I need you to go research a group called X Clan.
Of course, man. Glorious. Come on, dog.
We had guys that were trying
from
to
the
teach
red,
us the way.
black, and the green.
And the
Sissies.
green.
Abracadabra.
Great.
I love Baby Process. Sorry, man. I like X-Clan. I always thought they were from the West Coast because of their beats, dog, back in the day, but I found out they were East Coast cats.
No, that's an East Coast
I knew
group.
that, yeah, right away. But at first, when I first heard them, I was like, oh, these dudes from the West? Because, they were using the samples that...
We did a dance routine off their shit
Excellent.
At Dorsey High School.
Damn, they were the shit.
Yeah, at Rancho Park. We needed that because of what we saw with Public Enemy. This is one issue I had with the East Coast brothers that singled out NWA.
Special Ed.
NWA. Yeah.